Hello guys, it is Saturday night, it is stream night, and we are live on YouTube ranking and sorting all of the Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures. We have a lot of figures to rank as you look at the music we're listening to. If you're interested in the music, Force Hammer, this is the one I've been playing mostly. Apparently it's free. We will see if I get any copyright strikes, but yes, we are here to rank the Power Ranger Lightning Collection figures. You can see I already started here. I did that in a video that went up on the YouTube yesterday where I ranked all of the figures that I own, and you can see that we still have a lot of figures to go that I don't own, and that's why I kind of wanted to do it with chat and with other Lightning Collection fans, because I didn't want my bias to kind of influence where these figures should sit. I wanted people, or to give people a chance to sort of have their opinion and put their favorite characters or their favorite figures wherever they wanted on to this list. And if you don't know what tier maker is, well, it's very simple. Basically, you create a list as we kind of fade out the music here and you can hear me. We just close this tab maybe. Yeah, what you do is you create a list. This actually took me a really long time to make because I had to cut all of the figures into 100 by 100 squares, so it looks kind of nice like this. But you create a list, you add a number of whatever you want to rank. So there's some people do it with video games, they do it with chocolate bars, they do it with all sorts of things, and you can basically rank them into these different settings or these different ranks. So you first up you have S, which is the top tier. Then you obviously have A, B, C, and D, and we've done D as the lowest one. Currently only 2 figures set on D, Zeo Blue and Dino Fury Red. Just as a quick overview, just because I don't want to, maybe you want to go check out the other video, but the reason we put Zeo Blue on there was because Zeo Blue didn't come with its weapons, and the reason Dino Fury Red is on there is because when I opened mine up, his head popped off. So that's why they're there. But if we go through quickly, what we currently have is in the S rank, the recent Rita Repulsa figure, because she looks fantastic. Then we have the original Green Ranger, we have the original Wave 1 White Ranger, and we have the Ranger Slayer. Going into rank A, we currently have Dynacharge Red, Dynacharge Gold, Zeo Green, Zeo Cog, the Time Force Blue and Vector Cycle. We have the single release Tenga Warrior. We have, again, I can't remember her name, it's either Astronomer or Andromeda and Ecliptor. We have Wingless Goldar, we have Remastered Red, we have Remastered Yellow, we have Lord Draken, the normal release, not the Evo 3 one, and we have the Z Putty, the originals. Then into B, you can see we have Dynacharge Black, we have Ninja Ranger Blue, Ninja Ranger Black, Ninja Ranger Pink, Ninja Ranger Yellow, we have Zeo Red, Zeo Yellow, Zeo Gold, we have Time Force Red, we have the Mighty Morphin Yellow and Scorpina 2-pack, we have Remastered Pink, Remastered Black, Dynacharge Green, Dynacharge Pink, and the original Mighty Morphin Red. Then down into C, we have King Sphinx, we have Red Ranger, the Ninja Red Ranger, the White Ninja Ranger, the Cat, and the Cat double pack with Zeo Pink and Mighty Morphin Pink. We have the 3 Dino Thunder, so Yellow, Red, and Blue. We have Remastered Green. We have I think that's Remastered Blue. We have Original Pink, Mighty Morphin Pink, we have Original Mighty Morphin Yellow, we have Original Mighty Morphin Blue, and we have Original Mighty Morphin Black, and then, as I said, Zeo and Dino Thunder down in D. In some of these ranks, you might wonder why some of these figures are there. Again, this was like my personal opinion on my experience with these figures. So you might have different opinions on where figures should go. I have actually made this on Tier Maker, as you can see, and I will make this rank and this tier list public. I'm going to post it in the description of this stream after the stream, and I'm also going to put it onto the Lightning Collection Reddit. So it is free for everyone to use. So you can rank your figures or all of the figures however you want. And please, do send your, because you can like export this as like an image. Please send your image to me on X or Twitter at NotToysAF, or on Instagram NotToysAF, because I would love to see how different people rank their different figures. And yeah, also, like I said, if you're in the chat, if you're watching, if you see a figure that you like and you think it should be S, A, B, C, or D, let me know. in the chat. Just type it in why you think it, or where you think it should be and why, if you want, or just you can just type in the letter SABCD. And yeah, and that's pretty much the rules. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a long task. Like this, just to rank these few figures took me an hour. We have a lot more to do. I think I have everything. My rule was basically that if the figures were a release, like a release in themselves, they got put on the list. So there is stuff like with Dino Thunder. Dino Fury Red and Dino Charge Pink, and that wave, the Cog, and I think there was one more where they got like special boxes. I haven't put those on the list. I just put them down as like, here is the figure. One thing that I did miss in my original video, when what I noticed I missed off with this, is I didn't rank the Alien Rangers. I have the Alien Rangers, and I forgot to put the selfie series on. So I've added those to here. So I think everything is complete. Again, if there's something missing, let me know in chat, and I will then update it before I post or post this public on Tier Maker, and then hopefully we have a complete list which the community can use if they want to, or people in the community can use if they want to, and can add to as well and improve, which is totally fine with me. Yeah, this was just kind of like a fun thing that I wanted to do, so I thought, yeah, why not do it? So yeah, without further ado, let's start. And I think, like I said, we want to start with the Alien Rangers. So if you don't remember, the Alien Rangers came as a complete box set with all of the Rangers in it. The Alien Rangers, like, I must have watched them as a kid, but they kind of completely slipped my mind. Like I couldn't remember really anything about them. Then when I heard that they were coming out, I started watching on the Power Rangers YouTube channel that the whole kind of mid-series that they had. And yeah, it's actually quite a good series. I'm just looking at my mic levels. If you're in the chat, can you just tell me if I'm sounding too loud or too quiet, just so I can play around with the levels. But yeah, the Alien Rangers, they were it was a really cool series, kind of filling in. If you don't remember, it's the series where the Mighty Morphin teens get turned into kids, and it's kind of like the in-between between Mighty Morphin and Zeo. It's quite a cool series. The figures themselves, I really like the figures. They come with like really cool weapons. There's a review up on the channel if you want to check it out, but they come with weapons, they come with nice accessories. The figures themselves look great. They are on the older bodies, which is a bit of a, not a letdown, but I kind of wish they had been added to the newer ones. I think that would have been a lot cooler, because sounds perfect. Thank you, Miniature Art TV. I'm guessing that's Jamie. Hope it still sounds good, because I just turned off something. But yeah, they're really good figures. I wish they were on the more modern bodies. But I think going in, we're going to go in strong. We're going to go in and put these guys up in the S rank, because I just love when Hasbro just is uncomplicated about Power Ranger teams. They just give you the whole team. You have them all. You can pose them all together. As like someone who makes content on them, it's very easy to just like to have them and not have to chase them. And for the content, it's great because you can pose them all together. They all look cool together. So we're going in strong. We're going in at S, because they are a great team. And I'm really happy that I picked them up. I was on the fence for a long while. Got them. Currently, I'm recording this during Black Friday week. And I think in the US, they're on sale for like $80. Pick them up. They're so good. 5 figures. Yeah, it's five figures for $80. Chef's kiss. Go and get them. So in the chat, Miniature Art TV, if you see any Lightning collection or Power Rangers that you recognize here, shout them out and I will rank them for you. But I think you know what, I think we're gonna go on to the selfie series, because I saw today that people are kind of thinking that the selfie series in general as a whole is ended. And if you don't know what the selfie series is, it's basically you can like send in a scan of your face to Hasbro, and they will make a mold that is based on your face, and then you can stick it on the body of like I think it's Power Rangers, I think there's Star Wars, and I think it's the third one is, what is the third one? Not Marvel, it's Star Wars, Power Rangers, and I think there's one more series that does it, but I can't remember. I think it's a cool initiative. Like the word on the street is that it's ending, which doesn't really surprise me, because I think it's very niche and it must be very expensive for them to do. Like, I think the people that really want their face on a figure obviously would have already done it, but the people that aren't that interested are probably never going to do it. Like, I'm at least from the videos and the reviews I saw, I never thought the likenesses looked that good. So I never ordered one myself, and it also doesn't surprise me that they are ending. But as a figure, or as an initiative, I think it's pretty cool. I think I'm going to put it in like, I think I'm going to go for C. Because we've gone for B as like a solid figure. These guys, I guess they come as a solid figure because they come with the just the whatever body you want. I think you can get red, black, pink, and that's it. I think maybe they updated it. If they'd done it in green, that maybe would have tempted me. If you could get it in the green body with the lightning, with the dragon shield, that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, they didn't. So it's not really my cup of tea. It might be yours. On your list, you might rank them higher. But for me, yeah, definitely, I think a C is good enough. They aren't as good as these figures in my opinion. The B's definitely not an A, definitely not an S. And then, you know what? I actually bought some new figures second hand recently. Because I don't know, like I said, I've been saying in my reviews and in the last ranking video, I've been really into like just trying out different teams of figures. And the one that I picked up, or one of the ones I picked up, was Beefmorphous Red. I remember when I first got into Lightning Collection, I think it was around that wave when Beefmorphous Red came out, and I felt like it was he was everywhere, and he was always really cheap. And I was a bit like, yeah, I'm not really, like, I don't know the team, I don't know the character. I was like, the design doesn't look that interesting to me. But over time, as I've been getting into these more kind of, in my kind of world, obscure figures, Beastmorph has got more and more interesting to me. The yellow one recently came out and looks really cool. So I decided to pick up red and yellow, and I also picked up from this team, I can't even remember the team name, but I've got the Blue Ranger from there, and I got the Wolf Man, him, because again, I think they're interesting looking figures. So I think for Beastmorphous Red, I think I would go and put it into B. I think it's a figure that's grown on me over time, and kind of like I'm glad to add it to the team. I'm looking forward to it obviously arriving. I bought it from a store called Inderman Toys in the UK, and it's getting shipped over to Austria. So it's going to be a while until it gets here. But it's like I said, it's something different. It's something that I've not really looked into, but I was also like that with Dino Charge, and I really like Dino Charge. So now I'm like, yeah, maybe the Beastmorphous is the next one. I'm trying to fill out that team. And speaking of filling out the team, I think we go for Yellow next. I think Yellow again is a solid one. I'm looking forward to getting her. I think she has a new body, so I would stick her in B as well. And then we can go to Gold. Gold I've seen actually in Vienna on shelves a couple of times, and I always was like, I'm not going to pick it up. I think I was like, yeah, like I said, I wasn't really into Beastmorphers. I was like, all right, there's other figures I want to get that I'd rather spend my money on. But again, I think there's just something about the Gold Rangers. That's why I put Goldar and Dinochaz Gold in the background there. You might be able to see. There's also an Easter egg for Monday's review up there if you can see him. I might have to move my head out of the way slightly for you. But yeah, Gold Rangers, or the 6th Ranger, they always just add a little bit something extra. He looks great. He reminds me of the Kamen Riders with this kind of beetle bug look, and I think we have to put him in A. I think he's an A-class looking figure. He looks great, and I'm excited to hopefully see him on a shelf again and pick him up, because I'm definitely going to the next time I see him. And then if we go into the other teams, I think then, the other members of Beastmorphers, I actually didn't realize how many we have. We have 5 of them, right? So Blue, I think we can put Blue with B, with the rest of the team. I think that's only fair. And then again, we have I think he's called Cyber Villain Blaze. I think this is an A as well. I think he is a very cool looking, I guess he's a villain since it's in his name. But I love that it fits into the design of the characters. Like, you can tell that he is like the bad version of these guys. It's sort of the same with how Dinochaz Gold, you could tell he was like a older version of the rest of the characters. Like, I love that kind of how they tell you that through the character and suit designs. I think it's cool to have a bad villain or a villainous ranger, as you can kind of tell since I put the original Green Ranger up in the S rank. And it's also interesting when they kind of have the same coloured ranger, more or less. Like, this is what he could become if he goes down the wrong path. I really like that. They had that with I think with, didn't they have that in Space as well with Andros, and then there was another one with the Red Ranger, I think Time Force with the Sixth Ranger. I don't think he was a bad guy, but it was also kind of like a twist on that. Again, you had it in wasn't it with Mighty Morphin Red and Zeo Gold? They also kind of had that dynamic about them. So I would put it in A. Speaking of Mighty Morphin Red and Zeo Gold, why don't we rank this one? So this is the Jason 2-pack. So we currently have both of these figures. We have Gold and we have Mighty Morphin Red in rank B, which I think is good places for them. For the 2-pack, I think this is a really nice 2-pack. But of course, the issue is that I think it was some sort of exclusive, and since then it's pretty much impossible to get. Like if you want one now, you're looking at paying at least like €200. So I think even though they're cool figures, they have really good Jason sculpts for their heads. Like you have the smiling face and more of kind of like a pouty face. I think because of the availability, I think we have to put them in C. Even though the figures themselves look, I put them a bit higher. As a 2-pack, I think that it's great, but I think because you can't get it, then you have to rank it down a little bit. So we have them there in C. And then going on, maybe we do another 2-pack. I think we can go maybe for the Lord Zed and the Rita Repulsor 2-pack. I think this is a difficult one because I think until we had the new Rita, this one would have been put up a bit higher, because I don't think there's anything wrong really with this Rita pose and face, and also Lord Zed is nice to have. It was a cool, I think it was one of the anniversary for the 25th anniversary, I think. I might be wrong there, don't quote me on that, but there was some sort of anniversary around it. As a 2-pack, I think it works well, obviously, that you get both characters. I think the issue is now is that because we have such a good Rita, and because Zed on his own is also quite good, I think it kind of takes value out of the 2-pack because you don't need Rita anymore. So I think because of that, I would probably put it in C as well. I think the value of it has gone down in a sense of like me having to go out and buy it, because now I wouldn't go out and buy this one. I don't have Zed, so I would just go and buy the single release Zed wherever he is here, rather than this 2-pack, because it's probably a lot easier to get hold of and it's probably a lot cheaper. So I think we put them in the C rank. And then I think let's go on to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So we have Leo and Donatello, we have April and Michelangelo, we have Raph and Tommy. These figures, I think I don't know what happened with them, because I remember when they first came out, they especially Tommy and Raph were really hard to get hold of. And I think this crossover is fantastic, whether it's in figure form or it's in comic book form. It's such a cool crossover. The problem is now is that I feel like these things you can't give them away. Every kind of independent store that sells them always has them on sale. All of them. There's also Shredder here. All of them are always on sale. They can't seem to get rid of them. Even when you're looking on like YouTube, not YouTube. Even if you're looking on eBay, you can't like really. There's people that can't sell them, so I think that kind of maybe tells like, I don't know, either that Hasbro really overestimated how popular these things would be, or there might be some issues with the figures. In my kind of thinking has been, I'm just going to wait until they get really cheap, and now that they are really cheap, like you can get the 2-packs for like €20 each if you kind of look around. But even when they're that cheap, I haven't bothered to buy them, which is says a lot. But I do think they are nice figures. They are a great crossover. They are something that I really would like Hasbro to do more of in the future, obviously, if there is a future of the Lightning Collection. So I think we can go, the 2-packs, I would put them all in B. I think they're all solid. The April one is what it is. But it's nice that they managed to include her and fill out the team, which is good. For Shredder, I think Shredder is an A-class figure. I think, again, maybe it comes down to the character design of the comics, but I think Shredder looks great. I love how the Dragon Shield actually looks like a metallic gold rather than this kind of plasticky yellow that they have on the other figures, or at least the other Green Ranger figures. it looks more realistic. It looks more like kind of how the shield should look, and I think just having Shredder as a Green Ranger, it's just like the perfect combination. I like that he comes alone. I like that he looks bigger. I think it's a fantastic figure, and that's why we're going to put him in rank A. Then I think maybe we then go on to, why don't we go on to Dino Thunder, because we have the 3 figures here. If you didn't see my first video, the reason why I put them in rank C is because I think these figures, they are nice figures, but they have quite a lot of inconsistencies throughout the team. And I think that can kind of go on to Dino Thunder White as well. You can see on the picture, it's the picture I have is the one without his visor painted. He should have the black lines around it. And Hasbro did kind of remedy that by letting you swap out the head. By if you told them that you had the wrong one, they would send you a free head, even though you had to kind of jump through a couple of hoops. But yeah, it's a nice figure. Again, it kind of falls into that issue with Jason and the 2-pack that now it's become a very rare figure, and if you get one, you're paying way over the original price for it, and there is the risk that you have this bad head, so then you have to jump through all of the hoops of going to Hasbro to get a replacement. So I think for that reason, even though he's a nice figure, we're going to put him with the rest of the Dino Thunder team. Quick caffeine break there. Yeah, because I think again, yeah, there's a lot of issues with it, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah, I think C is a fair place for it. Maybe you want, maybe you don't agree. If you don't agree, let me know in chat or let me know in the comments afterwards where you think Dino Thunder White should be. And then we should have somewhere, yes, Dino Thunder Black. I think Dino Thunder Black, this might be the Tommy bias setting in, but this is a great figure and it's going in A. Yeah, I feel like this figure just, maybe it's just from a character design, but it just feels different to the other ones. Like, it just feels less rounded and simplified. You can see, like, with the horn on his head, with the kind of the shoulder pads coming out, with the cool weapon, it feels different. Like, it feels like I don't know, like like when companies have logos and it's kind of like they have like a logo and then they simplify it. That's kind of how this Ranger feels. Like it was almost kind of like this. Like it's maybe a little bit older than the new ones, got more smoothed and got like curvier lines, whereas this one feels a bit more edgy and jagged. Yeah, so I like it. It's a Tommy figure. It's another Tommy head option if you want one with the kind of little goatee that he has. And it's black and gold. It looks fantastic. It goes into A. The only thing, again, is it still hasn't been released in Europe, which is annoying. I still don't have it. I pre-ordered it from another kind of smaller comic book store in the UK, and it is yeah, still nothing has come through. It's the same with this. It's the same with Wave 15. Unfortunately, that we haven't got them in Europe or the UK yet. So yeah, I still don't have it, but I'm looking forward to getting it and opening it up and reviewing it. But yeah, as we go on to Wave 15, well, since we were talking about them, let's go on to them. We have Turbo Red. Turbo Red, I think is a B. I think it could have been an A. The thing that I don't like about Turbo Red is it has the weird kind of shoulders where his shoulders almost look like circles. The silhouette just looks really strange, but the sculpt on the figure, the paint apps look really nice. That the head sculpt looks great, and again, it's like a figure that you can double up on, so you can take a Tommy head and stick a Tommy head on it, which is really awesome. It's awesome to see like Hasbro, at least before the hiatus, wanting to start new teams. That's kind of what this wave was about, I guess. Maybe to try and kickstart the Lightning Collection again, to show them like, okay, we're not just making Mighty Morphin, we're not just making older stuff. I mean, this is older stuff, but we're also diversifying, starting a lot of new teams. So I think that was nice. I think without its weird silhouette, you could have put it in A, but I think B is a good place for it. I always get these. I think this is RPM yellow. Yeah, again, kind of all the things that we said for red, But I think RPM yellow we can put in yellow because we can put in A. Because one, I think the figure looks great and the sculpt looks great, and also the civilian head looks fantastic. So I think this is just like Hasbro hitting its stride with this new body and with these new teams. I'm like, yes, this is what we want. We want something new. We want something exciting. Or at least I want something new to chase. Even though again these figures aren't out in Europe yet, and I think they did it exceedingly well with this one in particular. I think is it Lightspeed Blue is also a nice figure. It doesn't stand out to me as much as RPM Yellow, so I would put Lightspeed Blue in B, and I would say to Hasbro, if anyone from Hasbro ever sees this video, please, why aren't you releasing these figures in Europe? We want them. There are a lot of people in the EU and in the UK that really want to get these figures, and they are trickling through. I think a lot of people are basically ordering them from the US and then paying the import on them to get them over. But it just means that for us at the end, as the end user, we have to pay more, which is a little bit frustrating for us. So please, release this wave in the EU, because if it is the last Lightning Collection wave, we want to be able to have it. And then I guess actually we did miss one Dino Thunder figure, and I can't remember this guy's name, but he is the bad guy, and I think he is. Where do we have Dino Thunder? We have Dino Thunder in C, and we have Tommy in A. I think we give this one I'm gonna put him in. This is a hard one actually. I'm looking what other bad guys we have, and I think he has to go in A. I think he's an example a bit like Goldar, where he is a kind of like an iconic bad guy for that specific team and series, and I think Hasbro did a really good job of making his figure really good. Like I said, I don't have it, but I'm pretty sure he has like the mouth opens and there's some really nice sculpt to him. And again, this is one that, like, once I fill out the rest of it, if I ever get black and I ever get white, I would definitely then go and pick him up. And it kind of, again, it's just something a bit different, like something that is different to what we see with the Rangers, with just the basic kind of suits and helmets. It's a completely new sculpt, completely unique. I love it when Hasbro does these kind of figures, because they can't be cheap to do. For the Rangers, there's a lot of reuse. Like for the male figures, they can reuse it however many times they need to for each team. For the female figures, they can do the same. And then a lot of times throughout teams, they can just reuse the same body. Like I'm pretty sure the Mighty Morphin, the original ones have the same body as Dino Thunder, for example. But for these figures that are unique and have unique sculpts, they can't reuse them, or a lot of them they can't reuse. So it's nice that they do them, and I think we need to support them. And I think for that reason, we have to put him in A. And then another one that is basically exactly the same in what I just said is Finster. Again, a fantastic looking figure. This is one figure that I think has kind of like penetrated other collections, because I watch a channel called The Fwoosh on YouTube, and he mostly collects Star Wars, the Black Series, G.I. Joe, and Marvel stuff. But he did open up Finster and kind of showed off Finster, because he's like, he doesn't really know anything about Power Rangers. He doesn't collect Power Rangers, but as kind of like a toy fan and a customizer, he really, really likes Finster's sculpt, because it's just so unique. And I think, again, like, it has the beautiful kind of like sculpting on the apron with the little figures. Also his mouth opens, the gold that is on him, just a fantastic looking figure. Again, one really that Hasbro probably can't use again for anything else, so it's completely unique. So I think we have to put him in A tier, because he's just a great looking figure. Then maybe why don't we go to let's do Ninja Ranger Cat. Ninja Ranger Cat basically falls into the same sphere as Kim for me. I think the body is great on the female Ninja Rangers. I think the cat sculpt looks really good. Like for me, I don't really remember Cat being the Ninja Ranger. I always remember Kimberly from the movie, so I never picked up Cat. But it is one of those figures where, if I see it cheap, then I probably would then pick it up, because it's yeah, it is a nice one to add to your collection. It's a nice cat sculpt, and yeah, I think it's a solid figure, so we can put it into B. Then why don't we go on to, you know what, let's go on to the metallic Mighty Morphin Rangers, because I think I would put these all, more or less all of them, into the same box or into the same tier. And I think, I don't know, I think these are, the problem with them was, it was at the time, I think they came out when people were still struggling to find the original Mighty Morphin Rangers. So they kind of acted as like an in-between to be like, all right, you want some Mighty Morphin Rangers, you can't get hold of the original ones, but you can have these ones which are new. So I think, I don't know, I think I would put them probably in C. I think they are fine figures. It's like a good reuse of the original ones, and most of the original ones I have in C as well. So I think they're fine figures. They do a job for main collectors. They are kind of like cool figures to have because of in the episode where they transform and they have this metallic look. It's kind of like a very niche thing, and for maybe newer collectors, it was kind of cool for them to have some Mighty Morphin because the original Rangers were so hard to get. The only one I would maybe put up into B is Red Ranger, because with him we got the new Red Ranger head sculpt, so it's helmet sculpt, which is cool because the original one was really bad. And we also got a nice Rocky sculpt. And at the time, Rocky, the Zeo Ranger Rocky head sculpt, was, everyone thought it was terrible. Now I'm kind of coming back around on it to be like, in hindsight, I don't think it was that bad. But at the time, yeah, it was like the first time we had like a nice Rocky sculpt that we could put on our Zeo Blue or on whoever we wanted. And I think that kind of elevates the Red Ranger up a little bit compared to the other metallic Mighty Morphin Rangers. So we can put him into the B rank. Then let's have a look at maybe some enemies, some bad guys. And I think we should start off with this, what's he called? The Centurion, I think he's called, the police one. This figure, honestly, it went over my head when it came out. I was like, all right, cool, another bad guy from a team that I don't really know. I'm pretty sure it's from Turbo, but correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I'm pretty sure it's Turbo. And again, this is kind of the same story with Finster. I didn't really know anything about this figure, and then I was watching the Fwoosh, and he bought it because he was like, yeah, again, this is just sort of like a 90s looking action figure. Like, it's basically a police, like RoboCop, but with like traffic lights in his shoulders and like this really kind of cool head sculpt, and it's very robotic, but it's a police officer, and then it even has like LED lights in it that you can turn on. So I think for me, this is like, I don't know why Hasbro, like, why they went so into it, but I'm so glad they did, because it's a really standout figure, and I think this is an S rank figure. I think it's great. It's like the next step of detail for Hasbro, including the lights. Like, that's usually what you see with things like Mezco or like more expensive figures. But it was just such a nice touch. It's such an unusual figure. Again, it's like unique. It's one that they can't reuse the bodies for. So it's kind of cool that they made it, because it would have been easy for them not to. And then that they executed so well on it, I think gets it into the S rank for me. So let's put the Centurion up there, and then I'll take a sip. So that's one bad guy. A bad guy on the other end of the spectrum, I think, is the Pumpkin Rapper. I honestly think this figure is a D rank figure. You might not agree with me, but I think this figure is so kind of generic. And again, it's one of those figures that it's been out for years and years, and it's the same with King Sphinx. It's from that very first wave of monsters, and it kind of like, I don't know, I just don't feel like it's aged very well. Like, it had the same issue with King Sphinx where its facial features weren't painted, there was no paint apps on them, and yeah, and now it's kind of like you can't give them away. Like, you literally cannot give them away. Like, every store still has them. They have them for like $10 now. They just can't get rid of them, and I think that says a lot about the figure, in my opinion. I feel like it's like a figure that you buy as kind of like a content creator to use at Halloween because it's pumpkin themed, and then you just kind of put it back in its box and leave it again till next year. Yeah, I think it's one of the worst Power Ranger Lightning Collection figures. So for me, it's a D. Again, for you, it might be different. That's why I'm putting this tier maker out to the public and out to everyone, so you can rank your own figures. But for me, it's a D level. Then we go for what I like with the monsters is I think they kind of can go into any. So we have one in S, we have one in D, we have one in C. We have more like, I wouldn't call them monsters, but more sort of villains in A. I think if we go for let's go for a Pudgy Pig, and this is just I'm not making any difference between the lunchbox release or just the regular one. It's just the same figure, it's just the box was different. I think for Pudgy Pig, you have to put him in A. Again, it's just a completely like, it's probably one of those figures that you wouldn't think you would ever see in actual Lightning Collection because it must be so complicated to make. But I think, yeah, when it was announced, I remember I was watching, we were driving somewhere and I was watching the stream where they announced it in the back seat of the car. And I just remember the chat like kind of going crazy when it was announced, and then also with it being in the lunchbox. And I think, yeah, I think it's an awesome figure. Again, you might be able to argue that it's, again, like, and maybe this is for most of the monsters, that it's one of those figures that's always on sale, that you always see in stores that people can't seem to get rid of. But I think just because of the sculpt and the character and the stuff that the accessories it came with, I think it's a great figure, so I would put it in A. Then we go on to the Eye Guy. The Eye Guy, again, is another great one. I don't think he's quite on the level of Pudgy Pig, so I put Eye Guy in the B rank. Again, it's an interesting character. It's an interesting sculpt that we probably aren't, you're not going to see that again. It also came with some nice accessories. So I think it's a solid figure. It's a solid bad guy that you would put in B. Then we go to, I can't remember his name, the Piranha villain. This one, I think I'm going to put this one in C. I think Pudgy for me is the best. Eye Guy I like. The Piranha one I was a bit like, okay, it's a cool, interesting figure, but it's hard to judge when you haven't seen them in hand, because to me this feels more like King Sphinx in the sense of like, here is just like a big, dense blue piece of plastic with fish nunchucks. Like there doesn't seem to be any nuance to the sculpt or to the character. Again, I don't own it, so I've not held it in my hand. I haven't seen the paint apps, but just from looking at pictures, I always think it just feels a bit like meh. It's just a big piece of plastic, which I don't really like. So that's why he's going into C. Snizzard. I think Snizzard is, well, one, it's cool that they kind of brought him back for the 30th anniversary special. Two, it's cool that Hasbro kind of went a bit, not really above and beyond, but they went further than they had to with the figure, with him opening up the mouth, with the snakes and everything. And I think as a character design, he's awesome. As a character, like I said, it's awesome. He was also, I think, played by Brian, or his voice was done by Bryan Cranston in the original series. So I think it's just an all-round great figure, great character, so we have to put him in A. Then, yeah, why don't we go into the Red Ecliptor? The Red Ecliptor, we have the other Ecliptor here in the A rank. I guess it's reuse, and it's just really like a paint app with, I guess he has different accessories. The reason that I mostly put Ecliptor and Andromeda in A is because they were unknown characters to me, and because the detail on Andromeda really stood out. So I think Ecliptor, the red one on his home, because it's reused, because it's nothing like, because I don't know the character, I think I'm going to put him in C. It's cool that it exists. Like I said, it's not really I don't really know that much about him. So yeah, well, let's put him in C. Then we can move on, and why don't we go for maybe some let's go for the Cobra Kai stuff. I think the Cobra Kai, I love Cobra Kai. I've said in some of my videos before that I actually do karate. So I was really hyped when I heard that they were doing a crossover, but the scope of the crossover for me just wasn't really that impressive. I wanted something a bit more like the Turtles, and this was just kind of reuse with new head sculpts. And for that reason, I think, yeah, although the head sculpts do look pretty good, and they are it is quite creative how they kind of incorporated them with their animals from kind of the Cobra Kai show. I just think it was like kind of like a bit of a cash grab. Again, they're sort of figures that are always on sale. And yeah, I think you could argue they were really figures that no one was asking for, and they were exclusive, and they were always a little bit more expensive. So I think I would put them in the C range. Then we can go on to, let's go on to the Omega Rangers. The Omega Rangers, they aren't currently out in Europe or the UK yet. So I haven't had them in hand, but and there was kind of like a little bit of a scare about whether or not they were going to be coming to the UK and Europe, because like I said, with Wave 15, they haven't arrived yet. With Tommy and Dino Thunder, they haven't arrived. He hasn't arrived yet either. So there was a bit of a panic that these weren't going to come, and I was like proper hyped to get them because, one, the figures look fantastic, and two, because the figures look so good, I started reading the comics, and the comics are fantastic. So I was really like, oh, I can't wait to get hold of them. I can't wait to get them. Then they went on sale in the US and released in the US, and and then there was no news at all in Europe. So it was a bit like, oh god, they aren't going to come. It's going to be such a pain to go and get them. Like, how am I going to be able to get them? But then, yeah, eventually they went up on Hasbro Pulse a few days earlier, and I managed to get my pre-order. The annoying thing is that they aren't coming. They aren't releasing until next year sometime, which is strange. I don't know why. I don't know what the reason would be, because they're already out in the US and already in people's hands. So still waiting. But from the characters, from the promo shots, from the comics, and from what I've seen of people's reviews, and because they are a full team, I think they have to go into the S rank. And I would have loved to have seen and also like the boxes, like the artwork on the box is actually done by the comic book artist, and isn't like the kind of 3D renders that we get now on Lightning Collection. It's awesome. They went really, again, kind of like they did more than they had to. You get all of the weapons. The only downside, I think, is, and this is like a theme with teamed boxes, you never get the head sculpts, which is a shame. But for most of the Rangers, apart from Kira, we have head sculpts for them, so we can just switch them out. And I saw there was a guy on the Lightning Collection Reddit recently who did a customized head for Kira, what looked amazing. I would also love to see, if we ever do get more Lightning Collection figures, if they ever do the cat, like the actual cat. I can't remember his name from the comic, but in the comic, spoilers, they have this big like lion like cat with like 3 or 4 eyes, and then this one becomes the cat becomes the next Blue Ranger, which is really cool. So it would be interesting to see if we ever would get that figure. I don't think we ever will, but it's nice to dream, right? So they go into the S rank. They are by far my most anticipated figure figures from the Lightning Collection. So I'm really happy that I managed to get my pre-order in, and I'm really looking forward to them arriving. Then if we go, because we talked about the heads, a lot of people use the heads of Trini and Jason from the comic 2-pack, so where Jason gets Trini's powers and vice versa. So you basically have a male Yellow Ranger and you have a female Red Ranger. This 2-pack I've heard a lot of mixed things about. The first thing I think people were buying it for was the Red Ranger head, because you could tell that the scale of the head was for a male body, so it kind of looked a bit like a lollipop head on Trini on the female body, but it also meant you could take it off and put it on your original Red Ranger. The Trini and the Jason head sculpts are really cool because they are kind of stylized to be more comic booky, which is perfect for the Omega Rangers because you want a Jason and a Trini head. And I also think the remastered black Zack head, also in general the remastered heads have more of a cartoony stylized look to them, so you can use Zack for the Black Ranger too. I think the big problem or the big issue was that the QC with these figures was really bad. That people were just saying that like there was all sorts of things wrong with them, and I think, and like now they're on sale a lot. I don't know. I don't know if they warrant a D, because you can use the head sculpts for the Omega, and because it's just an interesting two pack. So I think we're gonna put them in C. Yeah, so we have then not that many left, still a lot. So if you are watching and you do want to get your opinions in, please put them in chat. Why don't we go on to Wild Force, I think is this team's name. Now that I'm remembering it, we have Lunar Wolf and Wild Force Blue. There was Lunar Wolf. Like I said, I just bought this, so it's on its way. I'm gonna, when I get it, I will do a review for you guys. As a ranger and a character, it's obviously an awesome design, and I think in general the Wild Force Rangers all have really awesome designs because they are based around animals and like really themed around the animals, which is cool. With the wolf, though, I know there was an issue with his stripes, that he was meant to have 6 stripes but only came with 5 because he's a 6th ranger, and also he had some issues with the boots. I think Hasbro fixed that though, but yeah, I guess that's a little bit of hassle. So I would say, even though he is a good ranger, I think because of those QC issues, we have to put him in C. And for Wild Force Blue, this was the one that I believe that they announced because people were complaining that there was no big announcement for one of the Power Ranger anniversaries. So they kind of people were talking about Power Rangers on Twitter and being like, oh well, if Hasbro isn't going to announce something, then we will do it ourselves and celebrate it ourselves. And then I think there was some hashtag that got that went viral around Power Rangers because of this. And then Hasbro kind of announced this figure because they were like, oh yeah, because you guys are showing so much support, we have to kind of do something to celebrate it. So they announced Wild Force Blue. Again, fits into the Wild Force team. Really cool shark helmet that he has. Again, it's another one that I just purchased, so he's on his way. Or yeah, I think it's a guy, right? He's on his way. So I can't wait to get him and open him up. And yeah, I really hope this team is one that gets finished if Hasbro ever goes back to the Lightning Collection. Then why don't we go on to the SPD team? The SPD team, yeah, I was kind of... it's weird to say it, but I was very like anti-SPD. I don't know why. I just thought they were just a very generic looking team. But again, as I've been kind of exploring different teams, with figure forms, I've actually really got into the SPD, and I almost bought red, because the store that I bought the other figures from, they must have bought someone's collection, because they had a load that were pre-owned, and I was gonna buy SPD red because I'd seen that the price for him had gone up. And because I think the red one is a really interesting figure, and it's another one that when I first started collecting was everywhere, and then now you can't find it anywhere. And then I was like, all right, I'll leave it a day, just wait and see. And then the next day, someone had already bought it. So I was like, damn, I shouldn't have waited. I should have just bought him when I saw him. But I've kind of come around on the SPD team in general, because as they're filled out, I think they just look a lot cooler. Again, it's one of those teams where I think there is a lot of inconsistencies. Just looking at the pictures here, you can see like that the pink is missing the kind of silver lining. His visor looks slightly different to reds and pinks, or all of their visors look different. I guess that's by design though, or I would hope that's by design, that they look slightly different. And like the badges are all different coloured, but I'm pretty sure that's probably by design as well. But I like that, that this team keeps going. I like that you get like the little morpher with it, and always have done. It's kind of cool that the Green Ranger is Tommy and Kat's son. So I think out of them, I would go. I think red. I'm gonna put him in here. I'm gonna put green there. I'm going to put pink because I know that was an issue with the visor. I remember it coming out here. I'm going to put yellow into A. And I'm going to... Do we have any more? There should be... Isn't there a blue? The blue is in the 2-pack, right? Yeah. Then I guess this is a nice crossover for us to go into the B squad. So I think like I said, blue and the B squad blue, I'm gonna put them, I guess, in B, because I don't know enough about them, to be honest, to put them anywhere else. And I think it's cool to get both Blue Rangers in a 2-pack together. And I think, sorry, I just need to check something on my phone. And I think, they go in nicely together. If we go on to the B team or the B squad, I do have slight issues here because this is where stuff really starts to blur for me with these teams, because you have InSpace and then you have the Psycho Rangers, then you have the B squad, and then you have SPD. They all sort of somehow like the B squad and the Psycho Rangers and InSpace look very similar. And I'm sure there is some kind of overlap between all of those series about how these guys all interact with each other. But I just don't know what it is. But I think the B squad, I like the idea of there being like a badass like Power Ranger team that then goes out to sort of hunt other Power Rangers or police the galaxy. But I think the designs, even though like there's always been weapons and guns in Power Rangers, I feel like their guns and stuff look too realistic, and they look too real, like too space realism. That I'm not the biggest fan of them. So I'm gonna put them. I'm actually gonna put them in C, all of them. I think they, like I said, I don't know the lore. I'm sure people that do know the lore really like them, but for me, they aren't the best looking figures or the best looking Rangers. And then I guess it kind of then makes sense that we have the SPD team in B with the 2-pack, and then these guys in C. Then if we kind of transition then on, I guess, onto InSpace. If we go on the Psycho Rangers, again, it's nice that we have the Psycho Ranger 5-pack. It's really cool that I think this was the first team pack that they did together. I actually do really like the design of the Psycho Rangers. And I think for the 5-pack, I would put it in A, because, like I said, I love getting a full team of Rangers all in one go. It makes things so much easier as a collector. Obviously, it's expensive, but it makes things easier. Then we have blue and green. I think these guys were exclusive somewhere, so maybe they were a bit harder to get. But they do pop up now and again, especially on eBay, if you want to get them, at least in Europe. And I think they are, again, I like the designs. I think I would put both of these guys then in to B, because they are solid figures. They look good, and I like them. Then going on to InSpace. InSpace is again another team where I was like, man, I don't really rate these figures at all. I think the design is too plain and boring. But then as I've kind of learned a bit more about the Power Ranger kind of lore, and about like how I think InSpace is the end of like the Zordon era, right? And heard about the stories and everything, they kind of became more interesting. And for a long time, they were always the figures where I felt like they were really easy to get, and now they're getting harder and harder to get. And I like that there is a full team there, so I'm kind of like, these might become my next like chase figures, to be like, all right, I want to fill out the team. And we even have one that comes with his glider, which is pretty cool. So I think if we go through the team, we have InSpace Red with Andromeda, or whatever she's called, Astronomer. This, I don't know what the sculpt is like for Andromeda, but I do think it's a little bit like sleazy, tying up a main Ranger, like a Red Ranger, in with a 2-pack with a figure that people might not want. I do feel like that's a little bit like dirty doing it like that, because it's forcing you to buy 2 figures when most people probably only want the Red Ranger. So I think I would put this in C, even though probably they're both really good figures. I think, I really think tying like a main Ranger into a 2-pack or into some kind of special pack is a little bit cheeky. Even if Andromeda looks as good as this one up here, I still think that she or he, Andros, should be, as the in space Red Ranger, should be on his own in his own pack. So if we then actually just got onto Andros, where he's kind of like in hiding, this to me is an A class figure. I think the Andros head sculpt looks fantastic. I love that he comes with cloth goods. From my Rita, that I love cloth goods in the Lightning collection because it just adds like that extra level of detail that I really like. And and I think it's a great kind of figure to release if you are an in-space fan, because like I said, the team itself, the design of the Rangers is very kind of uniform and simple, but then you have this figure that has a really good head sculpt, has the cloth goods, looks completely different to the rest of the team. I think it's cool that they added him. Then we can go on to, so now we have Psycho, Silver, and the Blue in space. And I think this one, again, it's a 2-pack, but Blue and Silver aren't necessarily main characters in it. Even though I think the Blue Ranger, he then goes on to, was Turbo before this one? Turbo was before this, right? That's TJ. That's Turbo Red. And then he goes into In Space Blue, I think. Let me know in the comments or in chat. But yeah, it's a cool 2-pack. Again, I like the Psycho Rangers. I like the In Space Rangers as well, so I would put them there. Then going on for the rest of In Space, there's not really any that really I remember having issues with. I think In Space Silver is quite interesting because this is the one that got leaked and then announced and then released without Hasbro actually saying anything that it existed, without them posting about it on Hasbro Pulse. So it was out in people's hands before they even announced that it was an actual figure. I think it was like a Walgreens exclusive in the US. And yeah, I think this figure is quite well liked and has become harder to get as a single release figure. I think it's an A. I think it's a nice 6th Ranger, done nicely, cool colors, cool head sculpt, and it's just a nice figure. I think what is easier now to get is the in Space Silver with his vehicle. Again, I was never really sold on vehicles until I opened up my first one, which was Time Force Blue. I don't have the in Space Silver one, but if Time Force Blue is anything to go off of, I think we can put this in A quite safely, because I like the In Space Silver single figure. You get that figure plus you get the bike, and like I said, if the bike is in the same league as the Vector Cycle, then I think it's an A-class figure. Then for the rest, I think we can just put them more or less together in B as like solid figures. Black I'm putting in A, because I think the Black Ranger, his weapon looks really cool. So I'm putting him in A. I think pink and yellow are a little bit more generic, but black looks pretty sick. Then we have, I think then all that we have left for the in-space is TJ with his glider. I think this is a B class figure. It's nice. It's nice that they did it. I mean, it's a bit annoying that only one of the in-space figures has a glider when they all should have one. It would have been cool if they had maybe, like, it would have been cool if they just sold the gliders. Like, instead of like, here's a figure that you already have plus his glider, it would have just been cool if it was like, hey, here are the 5 gliders for the figures. You don't need to buy another figure and only have one of the gliders. That would have been cooler in my opinion. So yeah, it's cool that they did it, but even for like customizers, it's annoying because they have to, if you want to make 5 of them, you have 5 TJ figures that you have to then sell or use as custom fodder. So I think that they could have maybe executed that a little bit better, to be honest, Hasbro. Then what should we go on to next? We basically have Lost Galaxy. We forgot the Phantom Ranger. Oh yeah, okay. There's 2. There's Phantom and Omega, right? Phantom Ranger is, in my opinion, A. just because, again, it's kind of, for me, like Sixth Ranger syndrome. I don't know if he is a Sixth Ranger, but just how he looks compared to the other SPD figures, he looks different. But still looks like he's part of the team, which I always really like. And that's kind of the thing I really like about Sixth Rangers in general. I love that he has the number 100 on his chest. Again, I am getting more into SPD as a team and looking into trying to pick up some of the figures when I can, and if I see Psycho, then I'll definitely pick him up. The same can be said, I think, for Omega, because he comes, again, he's a unique looking figure, and he also comes with his huge like uni wheel vehicle, and this, I think, was the first ever vehicle character combo we got in the Lightning collection. So it was cool that kind of early on they were already doing this. So you got to give Hasbro props for that, and for me, you got to put him in A. Then we got Lost Galaxy, Dino Thunder. This guy, I can't remember what he's part of. More Dino Thunder, Dino Charge Blue. Dino Charge Blue, I think we can put him wherever we put Pink, which is in B. He's also, I put him on my Christmas list, which is quite funny, but I put him on my Christmas list, so I think I will be getting him for Christmas, hopefully. I'm looking forward to seeing the new male body in the Dino Charge. Hopefully he doesn't have wobbly leg syndrome like a lot of the new male bodies have. But yeah, the original male one bodies were just so impressive. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the new one is, and hopefully it's as good, if not better, than the originals, but let's see. If we go on to Lost Galaxy, I have to say Lost Galaxy is probably my least favorite Power Rangers team, because I think all of the team itself, they just look too similar. They all just look, their helmets just look the same. Apart from these two, obviously they look quite alike. But these three, I just think are very generic looking Rangers in a generic looking team. I would put green into B, because I do think green looks nice, and also the civilian head looks really nice. And then I think yellow I would also put here. Like, they have some interesting weapons. They have cool weapons. But I think as a team, they are pretty bland. Sorry if that offends anyone. But yeah, there's never been one where... I mean, I have looked at these two. These two are often on sale really, really cheap. But they've never been a team that I've really ever been like, I really want to go out and just look at try their figures. They've always just been a bit plain for me. So that's why they're in the low ranks. Then we have, so what do we have left? So, let's do more Dino Fury. Dino Fury Red, like I said, is down in D because it broke. Dino Fury Blue, I would put up into A, because I just think the design of this figure is awesome, or this character. I think the character who plays him in the show, what's he called? It's called Ollie, right? I think. Is cool, and I liked that in Cosmic Fury that he has his own evil arc, which is really cool. And I just think this figure just stands out the most. Like the kind of design on the mask looks like a Triceratops more than these ones do. Like these ones, you kind of get it's like some kind of dragon, and this is some kind of cat, but it doesn't necessarily give it away exactly what it is. And I think Dino Fury Blue is like hits it perfectly. Dino Fury Green, I think I would put her in C. I think she's an okay figure. Nothing really stands out about her to me. She's just like, she's nice. Like even actually in the show, I mean, in the show the character is quite cool, but I think the figure is pretty bland. So I'd put her in C. Then we can go on to maybe what they call the Street Fighter crossovers. I have very mixed feelings about these, because I think these have been executed very well. But what would have really just taken them on to like put them in the S rank for me would have been if they all had civilian heads of the characters that they are representing. So it's Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and her name I've forgotten, but it's the girl with the blonde braids. So I think again these are like cool figures that I guess came out of the the video game, because there was a crossover with Street Fighter there. I don't know. I don't know if they should be in A or B. I think I'm going to put them in B because they are cool, but they are a bit more expensive and they are I think, very niche. And again, you can see this kind of gold color plastic that they use. It looks very plasticky. It doesn't look very metallic like this gold does. So yeah, I will put them in like cool crossover. But again, as you can kind of see, there's a bit of a theme with the crossovers being in the B rank with the Turtles, and then even the Cobra Kai one being in the C rank. Cool idea, really nicely executed. I think they could have gone. I think if you got the civilian heads, I would have put them in S, because I think then it's like the perfect crossover. But otherwise, yeah, I think B is good for them. Then I just realized we have 2 Dragon Shield Black Rangers. Where did we put? So we put the remastered Dragon up here. The remastered Black Ranger, I should say, up here. The original one then with Dragon Shield. I think I'm going to put it in B as well, actually, because it was cool to have him as a standalone character. I really love the gold on him, and I like that. If you have this character already, it means that you aren't like limiting your one Dragon Shield that you get with the remastered set. You can just use this figure as the Black Ranger with the Dragon Shield, and I think that is kind of cool, and I just think in general it's a cool figure. In here, can I? No. Can't remove it. Then we got onto Cell Shaded Pink. When I first saw this, I thought this was an awesome idea, but yeah, I think there's only one place for it. I think everyone is probably in the same agreement of this, that like, okay, we didn't need another Green Ranger. We didn't need like another spin-off style for the Lightning Collection. And yeah, this thing kind of really came and went. Like, they didn't do any other figures. They only did Pink, so I put her in D. Then we have the Mighty Morphin, the original release with Adam. I would probably just put this next to the other one with Zack. I think it's a nice figure. I think we have better ones now. It's cool that it came with the long gun that was kind of like specific to a certain episode. But yeah, it's kind of cool if you wanted Adam as his own figure, and if you never managed to get the black, the Zack one, the Zack Black Ranger. I mean, I'm pretty sure still now there are stores that have the original black one still up for sale, so I don't think he was ever that hard to get. But yeah, it gives you options, and I think they are good both there together in C. Okay, so we're getting towards the end now. We have the Dragon Spirits and Putty. This is probably my most wanted figures in the set, just because of it being Tommy. I don't think it deserves an S rank because it is basically reuse of 2 figures, and also it's really hard to get hold of without paying hundreds of euros for it. So I also don't think it deserves to go in A. So I think I'm going to put it in B because, for exactly those reasons. We have the Putty in A because I think the Putty is a solid character. We have the original Green Ranger in in S, because before the remastered, this was my favorite figure. So I think it's fair to put them here because it's reused with a bit of paint. I think there's a few new accessories for the Putty, but because it's so hard to get and so expensive, I don't think it deserves to go into the top tier. Something that might deserve to go into the top tier though is, let's see, a top tier. I think with the Putty 2-pack, I think I'm in the same mind as the original Putty. I think, again, it's just like for people that like to pose and take photos of their figures, it's like a very cool thing to have as like an army builder with extra accessories to be able to really bring your pictures to life and have like a bad guy for your figures to go up against. And again, like I said, I don't feel like we've ever needed a remastered version of the Putty, so I think they are just consistently good. It's cool that you can get a 2-pack. It makes army building easier, and they added some extra kind of goodies in there to make it them feel a little bit different to the original one, which is awesome. So I put that one in A. The cogs, I would put the cogs also probably. I think you have to put them in A as well because the other cog is so good. More or less for the same reason as the putties. I think they're great. They're fantastic figures. And again, just having them as an army builder and having them as kind of a little bit of variance is just nice to have. So they can go into A. Then we have, I think this is Lost Galaxy and Psycho Red. I think we had Psycho Red in the 5-pack. And like I said, Lost Galaxy Red, I'm just not a fan of. So I'm going to put this in B, just to be nice. Because I'm sure there are some Lost Galaxy fans out there who are like, why did you put them all in? Oh, I didn't put them all in C, actually. I put green there. But yeah, it's a 2-pack. Again, could be argued that you were locking possibly a main character up with a character that you might not want. Like I said, I don't really know the lore with the Psycho Rangers or any of these kind of bad guy teams. But obviously he must have something to do with the Lost Galaxy. But yeah, he is red. Like he's also like a main color. So I think it's fine to put them in B. Then we have the Tenga. The Tenga, I also have it in A, but I think because they gave it this weird blue tint to it for like seemingly no reason, or because it was some comic or some spin-off that had it once. I'm gonna put them in blue. In C, because I just don't like it. Like it's not how they looked in the show. And again, yeah, it's nice that it's a 2-pack. It's nice army builder, but they aren't necessarily how you want them to look, which is weird. It's like a weird change. So I would put them in C. Alpha and Zordon. This is another one where, like, I feel like they are if you want to finish Mighty Morphin, they need to have figures, but I don't think they look that good, and I also think they're quite hard to get. Especially Zordon looks pretty bad if you look at the figure, and I think they could have maybe done stuff nicer with it, and also with Alpha. Like it would have been really cool if they just put some LEDs in his visor so it like lights up like from left to right or right to left. That would have been really cool. So I think for all of those reasons, it's nice to have them in the Lightning collection, but I think I'm gonna put them in C. Because I just don't. Again, I think they're hard to get. They're quite like expensive now, and also at least where I am, and also I don't think they were executed that nicely. Then we have Draken Evo 3, very cool figure that came with kind of like I think it was his throne, and then you also had the helmets of the Rangers that were all cracked, and then you had like Draken in kind of black. The original Draken or the other Draken, where do we have him? In A. I think we can put him there too. Just because it's a cool character, it's a cool variation. It was a very unique box set. Again, it could be argued that it's hard to get hold of him, but I feel like I don't know. I just feel like they executed really well with this figure, and it's like a figure that you want to have in your collection. Where for me, some other figures like Alpha and Zordon, I'm like, it would be nice to have them, but I don't want to really put any effort into getting them, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Then we have the Minotaur. Minotaur is also it came out with Rita in quite recently when all of the remastered figures were announced. I haven't opened it up, but I think it could be A or it could be B. I'm going to put it in B. I think it's like a very good bad guy, but I would need to really see it in hand to see how detailed it looks. Because again, I think it could maybe fall into that camp of here is just a big chunky figure that's all brown. I don't think that is the case, but it's kind of hard to say without actually having it in my hand and seeing it. So I think we can just put it into B because it's definitely a good figure. I'm just not sure if it's a great one. If you think it's a great one, let me know in chat or let me know in the comments below. Then we have the Tyrannosaur Sentry. I think this is a great figure. I think this can go into A with Draken. Mostly because it's such a cool character design, which I guess the Lightning Collection doesn't really have anything to do with. But it was it's awesome how they included it into the Lightning Collection, and how they kind of pulled off this kind of feeling of having this. I don't know. It feels very more like kind of robotic looking Tyrannosaurus Ranger. And I mean, yeah, it's in good company up there with the Ranger Slayer looking awesome, Draken, Evo Draken, and now this one. I think they are top tier figures, and they all deserve to be in their positions. Then we have, I think this is the In Space Phantom Ranger, if I believe correctly. And I've just realized I don't have the see-through one on here, so that's one Ranger that I am missing. Yeah, the see-through one. Or maybe I just didn't include that one on purpose. But anyway, let me know if you think I should include it or not. Yeah, this is an interesting figure. Again, I'm not really into the lore, but I think it is again like a very interesting one. Like it fits to the team, but is also different in a lot of ways, so it makes it stand out. So I think we can put this in B and have that as a kind of a good figure. Then we have this one, which is, where is this team from? Is it also Dino Fury? No, not Dino Fury, Dino Thunder. It reminds me of like a mix between a Z-Putty and like a Luchador. One of the more modern figures. I don't know that much about it, but I think going off of other sort of bad guys and enemy figures, I think it's probably safe to say that it's going to be at least a B, because I feel like if you look at them, at least for like grunts, enemies, we haven't got any in C. They're all in B or above, because I feel like they are usually pulled off really well. So I think we can be safe and put him in B. Lord Zed, an iconic character. It was nice to see him back for the 30-year anniversary. Yeah, we already have him in the 2-pack somewhere. Where is it? 2-pack is down here in C. I think I would put him into A. I think it's nice that he's standalone, because he's a unique character that people want to get. It was cool to have him in the 2-pack because it made sense. But like I said, because I feel like the 2-pack has kind of gone down in its value since the new Rita release, Zed kind of stands out more on his own now. It would be interesting if they ever would redo Zed as well. That would be kind of cool to see what the differences would be. But I still think the one that we currently have is a good one for the Lightning Collection. Then we have this guy whose name I can't remember, and I think he's Lost Galaxy. I think he kind of falls into the same as this guy from In Space. Like he's like an extra ranger, 6th ranger that looks very different. He's a lot bigger, but he is Lost Galaxy, so we'll put him in C. Sorry, Lost Galaxy fans. And then last but least, because we already did do the Dragon Shielded Black Ranger, is Goldar with wings, and Goldar without wings we have in A. So I think Goldar with wings, I think it's only fair to put them together. I think adding the wings is nice. You can see there that at least from the lighting, that they look slightly different. It would be interesting to see what the actual differences are. But yeah, guys, that is all of the Lightning Collection figures ranked, or at least that is my ranking for them. Like I said, I'm sure I missed off this guy's see-through one, but I think that's all of them. So yeah, let me know what you think of my list. Like I said, I'm going to make this tier maker kind of like template available on tier maker. So if you are a Lightning Collection content creator and want to do your own rankings, please feel free to use it, and please do use it, because yeah, I really want to see how other people rank all of these figures. And like I said, I'm going to put it onto the r/Power Rangers Lightning Collection, or r/Lightning Collection, whatever it's called. So it's there for the community to use. Yeah, it was really fun doing it. It's been really fun making this video. It's a lot of thinking. Like, I'm surprised at how tired I am now. But yeah, thank you so much for joining if you joined in the chat, or thank you so much for watching if you watch this video later on. And please, yeah, if you are watching it later on, make sure you go and watch part 1 where I rank all of my figures. I go in a little bit more into detail into the figures there, obviously, because I own the figures and have opened them. I also put some B-roll into the video where, as I'm talking about the figures, I'm showing off actual video of the figures. So yeah, it's also took a lot of work and a lot of time to do. So I'd really appreciate it if you would go and check it out and leave a like. And yeah, if you are new and maybe you got fed this video because of the YouTube algorithm, yeah, we make a lot of Lightning Collection content on this channel. Obviously, we completely based around it, but I'm trying to like branch out and do other things kind of like this that are Lightning Collection based, but aren't reviewing the figures because we are currently in a hiatus. So I'm trying to think of new creative ways to make content about these figures, because I love these figures. I love opening them, I love reviewing them, I love talking to people about them. And yeah, I really hope that this tier maker kind of creates a conversation, creates I hope other people start using it, start making their own lists, and start yeah, having a conversation about it. And maybe Hasbro sees it and sees some passion, that people are still passionate about the series and the figures, and decides that they should keep making them and not just stop. Because yeah, we have a lot of figures here. I think there's still a long way to go. There are a lot of Power Ranger teams that we can still work on. There are a lot of things that Hasbro can still work on to make this better. I think make more people invested in this franchise. So yeah, it's really just cool to do it. So thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.